Did you know the global supplement industry is worth over $150 billion, yet chronic inflammation is at an all-time high? We spend hundreds a month on superfood powders and synthetic vitamins, thinking we can buy our way to a long life. But here is the shock. A 100-year-old centenarian recently interviewed never took a single multivitamin in his life. Instead, he ate meal number 7 on this list nearly every week for 60 years. Back in 1987, a retired steelworker in Pittsburgh lived on just $11 a week for groceries. He ate the same one-pot meal every night for 3 years, and his doctor was baffled. His metabolic blood markers were superior to men half his age. The supplement industry doesn't want you to know that a 35-cent bowl of lentils has more bioavailable mineral density and prebiotic fiber than their most expensive pill. These 25 forgotten meals were designed for survival, but they accidentally created the perfect longevity protocol. Hit that subscribe button. It's time to stop overpaying for your health. Let's count down the 10 most powerful forgotten one-pot meals. Lentil and carrot stew. The microbiome powerhouse. What modern science now calls a prebiotic anchor for the gut microbiome was once just a prescription for survival tucked into a daughter's recipe box during the Depression. Lentils are a nutritional fortress. They cook in 30 minutes, dissolving into a thick porridge that fuels the production of butyrate in your gut, the primary energy source for your colon cells. This stew provided massive amounts of iron and folate, maintaining bone mineral density in seniors far more effectively than modern supplements. One widow in Missouri ate this 3 nights a week for 11 years after her husband passed. Her doctor was stunned to find her iron levels were biologically perfect at age 85. She wasn't following a trend. She was following a memory of resilience that leads us to the mineral-rich secret hidden in the bones. Ham bone and bean soup, the mineral density elixir. In a household that understood hunger, the bone was never thrown away. It was the foundation for the next 3 days of bone mineral density. A senior would drop that bone into a pot with navy beans and carrots, simmering it for 4 hours until the heat extracted every microgram of collagen and electrolytes from the bone marrow. By the end, the broth pulled every last bit of smoky flavor and concentrated nutrition from that bone, creating a soup thick enough to hold a spoon upright. In 1990, a bag of navy beans cost 69 cents and fed a person for nearly a week. This wasn't just poor man's food. It was biological engineering taught by mothers who knew that wasting a bone was wasting a year of life. This discipline of total nutrient extraction brings us to the most powerful anti-inflammatory vegetable on Earth. Cabbage and Sausage Pot, the anti-inflammatory shield. 1 head of cabbage, 2 smoked sausages, and a pot of water. That was the entire shopping list. But cabbage is a cruciferous powerhouse, rich in sulforaphane, a potent anti-inflammatory compound that protects the heart and supports liver detoxification. For a senior with arthritis in their hands, this meal required almost no knife work. The cabbage could be torn and the sausage snapped by hand. As they simmered, the cabbage turned silky and sweet, providing the insoluble fiber needed to sweep toxins out of the digestive tract. This meal crossed every ethnic line because inflammation and poverty don't care where your people came from. It was a shield for the body that led to a staple so reliable it has fed the U.S. Senate for over a century. Split pea soup, the satiety and brain workhorse. A bag of split peas, a leftover bone, and a carrot. That's it. The peas dissolve into a thick green porridge that is so dense in fiber it triggers immediate satiety signals, preventing the blood sugar spikes that damage brain health. In the 50s and 60s, this was a staple in senior centers because it was cheap, nutritious, and nearly impossible to ruin. For a senior with memory concerns, this forgiveness in the kitchen mattered. A pot left on low for too long just became a more concentrated source of mineral density. This soup was a nutritional insurance policy, a memory of strength that sustained the Depression generation through the hardest winters. Pinto beans and cornbread, the longevity duo. Pinto beans and cornbread. This wasn't just a meal. It was a complete amino acid profile that built muscle and bone for generations. The beans simmered for 3 hours until the broth turned into a thick, nutrient-dense bean liquor. The cornbread, baked in a seasoned cast-iron skillet, provided the complex carbohydrates needed to fuel independent living. Pinto beans remain the cheapest source of high-quality protein in the world. ensuring a senior with a bag of Pintos and cornmeal would never face the decline of malnutrition. It is a humble kind of dignity, the same kind found in the most healing liquid known to man. The classic chicken soup, the ultimate healing broth. Chicken soup. A whole chicken, carrots, celery, and onions. This is the most anti-inflammatory and regenerative meal ever invented. The golden broth is rich in carnosine, which helps the immune system fight off infection, and gelatin, which heals the gut lining. Every culture has a version because it is the taste of being taken care of. For a senior living alone, a pot of chicken soup is a biological connection to every person who ever loved them. Even when made in a quiet kitchen for one, the steam rises as a reminder that your health is worth the effort. Tomato and bread soup, the lycopene heart guard. Tomato and bread soup, Papa al Pomodoro. This meal proved you could support your heart even when the cupboard was bare. Cooking tomatoes releases lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that supports vascular health and reduces inflammation in the arterial walls. Italian immigrants brought this to the tenements of New York, turning stale bread and a can of tomatoes into a thick, warming porridge. For 18 cents, a senior could have a heart-protective meal that modern restaurants now sell for 18. It was a lesson in taking the ignored and turning it into life-saving medicine. Blackeyed Pea Stew, the Southern Microbiome Lifeline. Blackeyed Pea Stew. In the South, these weren't just for luck. They were a lifeline for the gut microbiome, providing a massive dose of potassium and zinc. Simmered with a ham hock and tomatoes, they created a smoky, nutrient-dense stew that fed a person for 5 days on a single pot. This wasn't cuisine. It was survival engineering designed to keep people independent when the alternative was hunger. It's a pragmatic approach to health that we see mirrored in the clean out the fridge wisdom of the Great Plains. Vegetable beef soup, the diversity diet. Vegetable beef soup. This was the clean out the crisper meal that provided the phytonutrient diversity every healthy microbiome craves. Limp celery, soft carrots, half an onion. Everything went into the pot to create a deeply savory broth. For a senior, this meal prevented the guilt of food waste and the slow spiral of feeling like they could no longer manage their kitchen. Every pot was different, providing a small, necessary variety to the monotony of eating alone. That variety was the secret to staying sharp and engaged, leading us to the legendary meal of the Pittsburgh Steelworker. The Depression Stew, the 91-year-old secret. Depression Stew. This is the meal that kept that steelworker's blood work perfect for 3 years. Ground beef, canned corn, canned tomatoes, and 2 diced potatoes. The starch from the potatoes thickened the broth into a hearty, metabolically balanced meal. Housewives penciled this recipe into margins, and mothers whispered it to daughters like a secret. No matter how bad it gets, you can eat tonight. For a senior on Social Security, this wasn't just dinner. It was defiance. A single pot cost less than $5 and kept a man independent until age 91. It is proof that the simplest food, eaten with dignity, is the ultimate longevity protocol. The food industry doesn't want you to think about these meals because there is zero profit margin in a head of cabbage or a bag of dried lentils. They'd rather sell you a $4 frozen dinner with less nutrition than a 35-cent bowl of bean soup. My challenge to you, make just one this week. The potato soup, the lentil stew, or the chicken and rice. Sit at the table, set a place, and eat it slowly. These meals were never about being cheap. They were about staying alive and staying human when the world made it easy to stop trying. Share in the comments which one you're making. Because at Vaxalis, we believe the best health insurance is what's in your pot. Thanks for watching.